Entombed Valley for our game number 6. This is one of the hardest maps, I think, for Zerg. We'll go into that in a little bit, but basically it comes down to the fact that whenever you get a 4th base, you're expanding to a place that you're not really comfortable with, and that's really, really tough. But let's it's kind of like Antigua Shipyard with 3 base timings being very accessible for Terrans. But let's introduce the players first.
Starting in top right, we have from Team Evil Genius's raid call, it is Elias Satori, the most recent pickup for Team Evil Genius's raid call. The recent WCS Europe champion and undisputed top foreigner in the world results-wise. And in fact, the best performing player of 2012 in terms of the monies, the cash monies. Over 100K in 2012 alone. In the bottom left, we have from Team Quran 3 Esports Club, it is Lucifron. Formerly on Team Fnatic, a former teammate of Gretorp, and that should tell you about his skill level alone.
Yeah, Lucifron back then was definitely an emerging player, but the big problem with him was he actually didn't practice at all.
Yeah,
it's because he wasn't motivated. He even lost to Action Jesus. I mean, things were going downhill for him.
Is that the bar of lows? Man, that's so mean.
Hey, bro. If you enter a tournament, do not 6-pool like 10 games out of the 12.
Don't lose to 6-pool if he 6-pools.
And Lucifron lost to it, man. It was on Delta Quadrant, which is a tiny map. They were in close
but
positions.
still, Delta Quadrant has a ramp that you can hold, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like Tal'Darim Altar or something.
I'm sure every single time I mention this story,
like
Lucifron actually cringes because it's like,
Scrap Station was really tough
don't
to
tell
hold.
me about that time.
Scrap Station was a tough map to hold early pools on if you weren't careful, man.
Well, there used to be like 10 drone rushes on that map.
Yeah, or even, Steps of War, remember you 12 drone rush. You double a strat trick,
yeah,
and then just drone drill.
Drone rush, and then you have 6 Zerglings coming out from behind.
Yeah. I remember there's this one video of a guy that stacked all of his drones in the middle and made it look like one scouting drone, and then they split into 12, and I was like, what? I wasn't expecting this.
This escalated quickly.
12 drones all of a sudden rushing my SCVs, and you didn't even notice, and you couldn't react in time, so 2 SCVs would die by the time you rally everything.
Because you'd think it's only one.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be no problem.
It's crazy.
Not. But yeah, that's it's a really cool actual little trick that you can do. But the fact of the matter is, Lucifron wasn't practicing back then, and it was really a shame because everybody really hyped up Lucifron to me. They were like, oh, he's a really good player. I remember TT1 saying like, oh no, he has skill. He's definitely going to be a good player, and then he just quit all of a sudden. And we didn't hear anything of him. He just left Fnatic. He actually declined to pay. He was getting paid. He declined to pay because he didn't feel comfortable taking the money because of how unmotivated he was.
Really?
Yeah.
He was so unmotivated, he didn't want money.
That's actually a lot of respect.
I hope I never have that problem in my life.
No, I don't want to pay this.
It's all right, man. I'm good. I'm good. You just take the money, bro.
But that's something that's awesome in a player. Like, you have so much integrity.
That's integrity. That's it.
And that's honestly what Lucifron is, man. I mean, this guy is definitely one of the best players that I know to this day. And
Rhett is also a player like that too. Rhett's actually given back or offered to not have Team Liquid pay him the salary if he felt like he wasn't performing, and that's actually really cool and stuff that you don't see that often.
Hey man, it's their job. They got to do it, man.
Yeah, and that's really cool that they see it as an occupation, as their job.
That's right. That's right. And their passion, of course.
That's right.
Just like us, man.
Passion. Yes, I love StarCraft. I love this build actually from Lucifron and most Terrans nowadays. It's just again, the Banshee Hellion controls so much of the map. On Entombed Valley though, Andre, what kind of styles do you like seeing in Zerg?
This. Oh, in Zerg.
Oh, sorry. In Terran. Let me rephrase that question, Andre, because clearly you misheard me.
Okay.
What kind of styles do you like seeing in Terran?
For Zerg, it's a little bit tricky, right? Because the 4th base, this is really, really open. What Terrans normally like to do is that they push out over to this region and just hold here and attack a couple of units. And if they can take this one place, this might seem very minor, this little terrain piece, but it actually helps out quite a bit. You have to split on both ways, and a lot of times what Terran can do is just commit all of their Marines to one side and make sure they win that side, and then the other side. They kind of let the other side go. But the fact of the matter is, if you can get this position as Terran, you're normally in an advantage when the big battles come. Now, this is assuming that your opponent is going to be taking 4 base, because 3 base aggression is very plausible on this map Stephano has been showing 3-base aggression, or at least a very fast 3-base hive type of play. But hold that thought, a little bit of aggression coming in here. Cloak is going to be initiated immediately, but there's enough transfuses, I think, to keep these queens alive. There's the second transfuse. Nicely done by Stephano, making sure all of his stuff is clean.
Yeah, transfuses all around. It's really tough for Lucifron to be able to do any true harassment, although he did get a good drone shot, and he killed 11 workers. But he exchanged a lot of Hellions and a lot of map control to do that.
Yeah.
And it does seem like very trivial, right? Like, does that really matter too much? It kind of does. But at the same time, Lucifron already starting to gear up for all kinds of mech. He's dropping double armory and in preparation for his Hellion Thor composition, if he chooses to go for that. Of course, you can have the option of going for siege tanks.
Yeah, siege tanks are definitely a possibility, but I think after he sees his opponent doesn't have a third base for this long, he has to go Thors. He must go Thors. I wouldn't be surprised if we see blind turrets all over the place just because he knows the third base is delayed for a quite considerable amount of time.
Yeah, it's 9.5 minutes, man. No third yet.
Yeah, normally the third goes down around 7 to 8 minutes. But, of course, we don't have that at all. Stephano's been showing that this delayed third can work if you really try to get kind of a faster hive tech. And he does display some of the faster hive tech, especially against the bio that we've seen. But this is the first time we actually get to see mech in this best of 11, which I'm really looking forward to. Lucifron now has, again, Hellions out in the field. This should kind of be a warning sign to Stephano to say, okay, I'm definitely up against mech this game, because you lost all those Hellions at the beginning.
You're remaking so many.
And you remade so many, that's right.
The Hellions trying to get in and just help harass the queens as much as possible and empower the Banshees. Nice kiting from Lucifron. Wow, able to really pick off the queens and send the Banshees forward while being able to kite back with his Hellions. And during this whole time, Lucifron got a little greedy. He dropped 4 factories instead of 2 and going up to double Thor production. Instead, he just dropped all 5 at the same time, and he's able to put on a lot of pressure.
Yep.
And this is all an attempt to deny the third. Stephano not in position. He's just going to have to cancel this, and that's going to put Stephano even further behind. And Stephano didn't go for Mutatech at all, Andre. So Lucifron doesn't even have to get turrets out. So again, a nice little corner that Lucifron was able to cut, and he's able to get really far ahead because of it.
That's right, and he can actually have a ton of timings now that he knows he has a big economic advantage on his opponent. I mean, when you see that your opponent hasn't gotten a third for this long, you're saying, okay, well, you are going some sort of tech build, but the good thing about mech is that I can go Thor Hellion, and it basically cleans up anything that you can go off of 2 bases. Like, you really don't have that much power. It's a lot of finesse when the lair tech comes out. It's those infestors, it's those mutas. They buy time. They have the ability to do damage, but they're not really that big of damage dealers. Not until you get to the Ultras or the Broodlords, or when you can actually, start dishing out that high DPS. But for now, you can see infestors are out in the field, and he's trying to get a little bit of map control. But look at this. Infestors are going to get picked off here.
Ah, nice.
For a cost of a Banshee, but it's still a great trade, because if you can bait a lot of those fungals or even infested Terrans, you're in a good position for your Thors, because they're not obviously taking any fungal growth, nor are they taking neural parasites.
No, if you trade a Banshee for an Infestor, you're trading out more gas efficiently, 100 for 150. So in this scenario, Lucifron doing great, especially if your opponent is already in the middle of stockpiling Infestors early. Trading is awesome, because then as the game goes on, the Infestors represent more than just 1 fungal. It's 2 and a couple Infested Terrans. Lucifron starting +2/+2. There is a really nice pre-high timing, but looks like he's pushing out with just 1/1. This is also because he knows he has such a large decisive advantage. If he can shut down these 2 bases, Stephano's going to have Hive Tech and Ultralisk Cavern with 4 gases, and that is not enough to what you need to crunch out a huge army.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast this Ultralisk Cavern is, but it's not going to come out in time, as you were saying. I mean, this is just so powerful. And look at this. He's bringing SEVs along. This is really going to force Stephano to actually start fungling on top of Thors, which just, it feels like it doesn't make sense. But the fact of the matter is there's no way to deal with this efficiently unless you have Banelings. Banelings are the way to actually stop this from happening, because you see, as soon as one fungal goes down, everything gets repaired.
Called by Stephano,
GG.
which is his way to say GG. And Stephano loses game number 6. Lucifron takes it with great harassment. Again, we're talking about the pinnacle of being able to harass and do multi-prong aggression and be able to constantly contain your opponent. That's what Lucifron's been able to do almost every single game this series. But what's amazing is Stephano, again, brings it back. Somehow defies the odds. Somehow engages perfectly. This time, the magic could not happen because Entombed Valley was a great map for that kind of style. The third is so isolated from the natural expansion. How are you supposed to get over there with the rocks in the way?
Yeah, it's very difficult. You need like a spine crawler and a spore crawler on the low ground, like not even on top of your ramp from where the natural is. You need to take that wide open space, and when creep is constantly being denied, it's hard to actually do that. Right? You can't get that positioning, so it's absolutely fantastic play from Lucifron, taking advantage of the map layout and taking really the win with Hellions and Banshees.
The series is now tied 3-3. Game number 7 in this best of 11 will happen when we return, so don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in just a minute.